Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you're watching a special edition where we'll be covering on tonight's show, if you're in the UK or in the evening / afternoon in the US, Brad Garlinghouse will be live on the show. We will be listening to Brad Garlinghouse breaking his silence since XRP has fallen below $1. And as we speak, we've got 99 cents super chat, which is an equivalent of 1 XRP. I love it.
Diesel_Raider tipped 99 cents through super chat.
Thank you, Diesel Raider, one of our top members here on Discord and YouTube, always active. Thank you, Diesel Raider. Yes, so coincidentally, XRP is trading around $1.99, $1 or 99 cents. That sort of range is what we've been seeing in the last few sessions. So Brad Garlinghouse breaking his silence since that's happened. So we'll have him live on the show. He is going to have a fireside chat. We need to see if he is going to be behind the XRP community. A lot of community members are feeling like he's abandoning the XRP community. A lot of XRP holders feel like he's abandoning the network and the utility of XRP. And another 99 cent super chat.
At Potato Family 3958 tipped 99 cents through super chat.
Thank you very much for your support. Let me make sure I've got this open. Yes, I do. So yeah, we're live with that. We're going to go through it. We're going to also go through the closing bell. That's going to be in a few minutes' time. The bell will go for the US stock market. We can have a quick look at that. The top stories of the day, the XRP chart. There's going to be a 24/7 trading section as well. Let me update that. Just checking one thing. So there's going to be a 24/7 trading. Yes, I'm just checking the times of this. So yeah, there will be a 24/7 trading panel as well, just before Brad Garlinghouse goes live. So we'll cover that as well. Oh, we've got $1. I like it.
$1 through
a bit more
chat.
bullish. I like it. Thank you, High Energy Investments. You did $1, so you think XRP is going to stay above $1. You guys can do super chats. If you think XRP is going to 50 cents, do a 50-cent super chat. If you think XRP is going to $1,000, then do a $500 super chat, because we can't do $1,000 super chats. That'll be a fun game. Anyway, let's continue. So XRP chart, 24/7 trading. There will be a 24/7 trading panel as well. Then there will be Brad Garlinghouse live, and then Charles Hoskinson, sort of the co-founder of ADA, will be live right after that. I'll let you guys decide if you want to continue and watch Charles Hoskinson as well. Then there's a Q&A session with us here on the channel. Robert Elliott, I agree with you. Thank you for the super chat.
At Robert Elliott tipped $5 through super chat.
Thank you, Robbie Elliott. $5. $5 a cycle. You just need to be happy with. It can go higher, it can be lower, but I think I'm preparing for $5. Does anyone think it's going to go to $10, $15, $20, $50, $100? Let me know via super chat. Okay, enough of me on the screen. Let's go through our positions. Let's go through the market closing. 2 minutes away from the market closing. So let's go over to our market watch. What is going on in the markets? Oh, look at this lovely message coming in from Nick Jones. Let me go to this. Big Lenny says a timer is literally on the screen. Did someone ask when the bad's going to speak? Yeah, oh, Big Lenny. Yeah, you figured it out. I can't make it any bigger. It'll take up too much of the screen. Martyn says, I'm very, very hungry and tired. This is hard. Halfway through my fast now, 48 hours. 2 days to go to food and $1 million on closing bell Thursday. There we go. We are supporting Martyn on his journey. Tampa says 5.89. Tampa, you can do a $5.89 super chat if you think that's where it's going. Shout out to Sensei's newsletter, worth it, guys. Nick Jones, member for 15 months. Thank you so much for your kind words on the newsletter. Guys, there's 200 people watching. There are over 1 million XRP investors. Anyone who's invested in XRP would want to and should watch today's Brad Garlinghouse speech. So guys, can you do me a favor and hit the like button? It takes a second. Hit the like button. Let's get straight to 100 likes. And then also subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you haven't checked out the newsletter, it's the first link in the description. Is this live? This way through gaming. I'm responding to you live, so it must be live. We're live, and you can also see the time at the top of the screen. You can see the date, the day, the time in London, the time in New York, the time in Tokyo, and you can establish any other time zone via that. So you can see we are live, we're up to date, we're real, and we're here. So the bell has just gone. Here we go. Where is the bell? The bell is here. Oh, and there's no sound for the bell. Here we go. Bell, bell, bell. There we go.
I can't believe this.
The bell has gone. The markets are now closed. Adobe up another 3.5% today. Look at this. Adobe, one of our calls for this year. Again, I don't give financial advice, but I like to look at companies and see if they're undervalued, overvalued, see if I can take a trade on them. And this was something bought at $200, up 31% in just over a month. Yes, it's had a couple down days, but it's back up today, up 3.5%, one of the bigger winners today. Let's just have a look at the main markets for a second. Bitcoin, pretty much flat on the day. The biggest gainer up 0.21%. Ethereum, pretty flat on the day. XRP, very flat. I mean, it's literally...
I can't believe this.
It's gearing up for a move because it has not budged today. It went as low as maybe 99 cents, but it's really at $1. It hasn't been moving much away from $1 today. It is waiting for Brad Garlinghouse to come out and speak. The FTSE, flat today. The US bonds, 10-year, down 0.3%. The S&P 500 looks like it's breaking towards the downside, down 0.66%. Oil, down 1%. Gold, down 1.68%. It's really struggling with this resistance we're at now. If it breaks below, let's say, 4,300, then we can be going all the way back down to 4,200. So we identified this resistance and we put it out. NASDAQ, down 1.69%. Silver, the biggest loser of the main... How are we getting all these members? What's going on? Let me check. Silver down 3.4%. Guys, if you want to win a membership, all you have to do is hit the like button and comment. And that way you can win a membership as well. You can see in the chat, literally every single person in the chat is a member. Okay, let's go through some more positions. The biggest winners stock-wise. Yeah, J&J up 3.3%. Alibaba up 2.8%. Salesforce up 2.7%. Netflix up 2.3%. Coca-Cola up 2% today. Virgin Galactic back testing. I mean, look at that. Perfect back test of around $2.85. Looks like it's holding that as support.
I can't
I'm showing all of
believe
these,
this.
but maybe it's a bit too... Let me just do one adjustment. That might make it easier to see. And I'm probably, yeah. Virgin Galactic, up 2%. Fiverr, up 1.6%. Let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Klarna, oh my God, what happened with Klarna today? Did they have an earnings? Let's have a look. Yes, they had an earnings. They are down. Is this after? No, this is this morning, I assume. Yeah, wow. Down 20, or last night maybe. Down 22% today. Klarna had an awful earnings, it seems like, down 22%. That is a bit crazy. Mobix, down 13%. It looks like it's a dying company at this point. I mean, it's the lowest levels it's ever been at. Vivo Power, down 8%. MicroStrategy, down 5%, approaching some levels of support around $90. Who can concentrate on what Sensei says on what? Nice that it does that, but do we need to hear it? I can't. Human being Liz, it's appreciation. I love it. Thank you, Rob. It's Rob's again, isn't it? Let me see. It must be Rob's. If we're getting all these things, Rob's loves to distract me, and I appreciate it. It's very amusing, and yeah, we like to show appreciation to our top members. Look at this, Rob's 10 Martyn Lucas investor memberships. Robs, thank you very much. You have given away 10 memberships. Guys, if you want to claim it, comment, hit the like button, get your free membership, and please do thank Robs for your membership. She has sent 10 Martyn Lucas investor memberships. So that's out of his hard-earned money. So guys, please do thank Robs for those memberships. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. Another 10 memberships. Thank you, Robs, for what you do for this community. Let's just see. Have we hit 100 likes? We've got 223 people watching. Let me hit the like button myself. Should always do that. I don't know why I missed it today. I can't tell you guys to hit the like button if I haven't done it myself. 87 likes, guys. There's 13 of you that haven't. That are just being lazy. Let's get up to 100 likes. We don't even need everyone to hit the like button. We just need another 13 people to hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, just take 1 second and hit that like button. So MicroStrategy down 5%. Very interesting. $90 will be support for that. If MicroStrategy wants to do a capitulation, it will break $90, break $83, and potentially head somewhere in the region of, I don't know, $70. That could be the bottom for MicroStrategy if it hasn't bottomed already. But if we're expecting the crypto market to take one final leg down, which is sort of my base case, I expect that to happen. I'll assign a 50% or above probability to that. I would say MicroStrategy in that scenario could break its previous lows of this cycle and head to maybe that $70-$80 range. We'll look at that in more detail in one of our Sunday shows. Sundays with Sensei. If you're a newsletter member, we do private stock reviews, private events where we not give financial advice, but I go through all my portfolio. I talk to you about my trades. We do chart analysis. We answer every private member's question, and that's just one of the perks within the newsletter. If you are a newsletter member, there is a major perk on the way. I'm expecting it to be at the beginning of next month or towards the end of this month. So it's coming soon, maybe sooner, maybe a little bit later, but coming very soon. And along with that, there'll be a price increase for new members. So if you're going to be a new member, then you have a price increase. If you're an existing member, you will never have a price increase. So this perk is costing thousands. This perk is going to be game changing. This perk is very time consuming. This, for me, this perk is very exciting. And I have been working on it nonstop ever since I did my SpaceX research. My next project has been this. So hopefully not too much more of my time will be dedicated to it so I can come back and do more newsletters and shows. But I think it's worth putting a lot of time into this new perk. So anyway, what I just want to say is that is coming to newsletter members. If you do want to be a newsletter member now to get your chart training course, to get your trading view indicators, to get your daily newsletters, to get your $5,000 portfolio challenge, to get your XRP weekly with the XRP charts every single Sunday, to be part of the private events on Sunday, to have the deep dives, to have the cheat sheets, to be prepared for FOMCs, FOMC minutes. Like tomorrow, we're having an FOMC minutes day. The market's going to move a lot and we're going to put out cheat sheet. All of those are included in the newsletter, plus the net worth tracker, plus this additional perk coming out. So if you want to do that, you can get 25% discount off your first year. And we'll probably actually, after this new perks comes out, not only will there be a price increase, there probably won't be any more discount codes again. So again, if you want to sign up, there is no better time. The link is in the is pinned, I believe. Is pinned, yes. And you can also what's that? Oh, Robs. Thank you very much.
Robs 1,993 tip $2 through Super Chat. Everyone
Thank you,
hit
Robs.
the like button.
Guys, if you haven't joined the newsletter, I'm going to give you the link. This gives you 25% off the year. What's probably going to see the biggest price increase is the yearly plan. Again, not for people that are already there. If you've already signed up, you're not going to see a price increase. It is for new members, people that aren't in the show, people that haven't discovered this channel. Maybe they'll come in a year, or maybe people that didn't want to take advantage of it might really want to take advantage once the new perk is out. But again, the link is in the live chat. Okay, so what else do we have in the market? We are just having a look at the closing bell as well. While we're here, the bell was just gone. We're looking at some of these positions. Robinhood closed down 4%. Oh, that's back tested as resistance. $100 was back tested as resistance. That's probably going to make its way down further. Meta down 4%. Yeah, a really bad day in the tech sector. Quite a bad day throughout the market, actually. AMD down 4%. Taiwan Semiconductor down 4%. Circle down 4%. Rocket Lab down 3.5%. Joby down 3.2%. ARK Invest down 3%. Knocking star. There we go. Thank you very much.
A knocking star tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. Best channel ever.
Thank you very much, knocking star. Coinbase down 2.0. Coinbase looks like it's losing support as well. Yeah, we could, if we're gonna have that final capitulation, I would be looking to buy Coinbase at maybe $120. I mean, do I know it's going to get there? No, but if we're going to have a final capitulation, I'm going to have my limit order set up just in case we do. Vertical aerospace trending towards zero. A stock like this, very high risk, very small, and too many people get very excited about eVTOL sector, although the eVTOL sector is new, it's speculative, and most people will lose in the eVTOL sector, especially with smaller ones like
Diesel _Ada tipped $4.99 through Super Chat. Coffee for Sensei and green tea for Martyn.
Coffee for Sensei and green tea for Martyn. There it is. Thank you, Diesel Raider. $4.99. Is that where you think XRP is going? I love it. So yeah, vertical aerospace, a bit probably one of the more risky eVTOL companies out there. EMR down 2%. Okay, so we've gone through the most volatile ones. Let's go to our other watch list as well. Biggest winner there is Adobe, up 3.5%, Alibaba up 2.7%, and Salesforce up 2.7%. The biggest loser is XE Energy. That hit basically our target at $23. Someone requested this on a Sunday show, and we looked at this breakout and we said, okay, there's a back test, and we sort of predicted targets of $17 and $20, and that went directly to $23. I forget the member. Can someone let me know? Are you in the chat? The person who suggested this, and then we looked at the breakout and we said this could be a bullish one. I think the target was $17, $20, $25. We were laddering out around those areas. Now it's turning over. I just want to see if that member, who was? Oh, it was Chief. Chief, it was you. XE Energy. Did you take some profits? I mean, obviously, it's still much higher than when you requested it. It's still up 30%. But I was just wondering. I know some of our targets were $17, $20, $25, and we sort of hit most of them. I'm just seeing if you've taken any profits or you're holding it. But either way, it's still up from those levels you requested it at. So Chief, it was Chief who requested this. Anyway, that's part of our Sundays with Sensei. We look at different opportunities. Serve Robotics down 7%, Firma down 7%, SMR down 6%. Still haven't really opened a position. I was looking under $10, but still haven't opened a proper position in that. ASML, that is down 4%. Circle down 4%. Okay, so we've gone through the biggest volatile ones. It does look like the market is overall down today. So that's the closing bell of today. Let's move on to some of your questions. Guys, if you have just tuned in, Brad Garlinghouse will be on stage shortly. Before that, we will be looking at 24/7 markets as well. Let me just go to that for a second, and we'll look at the XRP chart. Let's just quickly look at XRP chart while we're here. 21. I believe you said watch out for 22 and set at 21. So thank you. You did, Chief. Oh my God, Chief has done it. Let's give a big congratulations for Chief. Chief had a plan and he stuck to it. Guys, can we get some love for Chief? Because this is what people need to do. He found a trading opportunity. He looked at the chart. He did his own research and he had a plan. He had a plan and he's won. We support our community here, and Chief has just done a really big winning trade. So guys, can we just congratulate Chief? We're a big community here, and we congratulate each other. We support each other, and Chief has just done an amazing trade on XE Energy. So XE Energy, we were looking at this breakout at $15, back test at $14. This is sort of the entry zone we looked at on the Sunday show. And then Chief has reminded me saying, I believe he said, watch out for $22. And that is right in that range. Oh my God. I don't want to get, it kind of went to $22 and then pulled back. So again, that's not me. I don't give financial advice. I give you my thoughts. You go and do your own research. But Chief has had potentially a trade of about 64% in 21 days. He's a newsletter member. He supports the channel. So guys, shout out to Chief. What a guy. He stuck to his plan. He did his analysis. He's a newsletter member, and he's just done an amazing winning trade. And I'm just really, really happy because I kept an eye on Bloom Energy because I know Chief is one of our top members of the newsletter. And And I just wanted to see if it's too many people, there's an opportunity and they just want to stay in. They just want to hold it long term, even though they've made 60% in a couple of weeks. But Chief stuck to it. He took his profits, made 70% or between 50 and 70% in a couple of weeks. And there it is. Anyway, I'm very happy for Chief. Congratulations once again. Okay, so we probably don't really need to look at X Energy again. Maybe there'll be another opportunity in the future. Hopefully what it would do, if you are looking at this long term, it might just put in a higher low or potentially one lower low, and then it can be bullish divergence if you are bullish on it, or it might just start making a higher low. But anyway, I wouldn't really look at this again until potentially $17. And then anyway, I don't know enough about the fundamentals. Okay, so yeah, we'll leave the charts for our Sunday shows where we go through stocks like that. If you want to join us on Sundays where we look at charts like that, look at potential opportunities, you can be a newsletter member. Again, it's just one of the extra perks you get. Okay, so let's look at the XRP chart. So Brad Garlinghouse is going to be live on stage shortly. How did we get 100 likes? We've now got 250 watching, so we should have, without looking, after this XRP chart, I'm going to look at the likes. We should have at the very least, 50% of the people watching liking. 250 people watching, we should have at least 125 likes. Don't tell me in the chat. I'm not going to look. I'm just going to hope we're at 125 likes. And if we're not, guys, just hit the like button, because after the XRP chart, I want to look at the likes. Let's see if you guys can support the channel and push this out by getting us to 125 likes. So XRP, we do look at it every Sunday in our XRP weekly. We go through in detail. I write down the levels. I write down my thoughts. I show you the indicators. And every Sunday, we have a dedicated XRP newsletter. Again, it's part of the newsletter, just an additional perk. Every Sunday, you get the XRP news, the real news, not the fake news, not the stupid scammers out there trying to sell you all different narratives, not the people that are trying to get clicks, trying to get you to custodial XRP, trying to get you to leverage trade, trying to get you to lose money so they gain money, and giving you stupid price predictions of $500, $1,000, $2,000, trying to make you join a cult, trying to make you not be happy with 100% gains. I'm not talking about that sort of news. I'm talking about real news. What is actually happening with XRP? What are the developments? Is it good? Is it bad? What is the chart every week? What are the stupid people saying? We've got a debunk section of the newsletter every Sunday where we debunk some of the arguments. So that's the point. We give you a snapshot of what's going on with XRP as well. So we did the chart watch. We do this every week just to be prepared for the XRP, potentially the end of the bear market in the next, between now and 6 months. I expect the bear market to end and going into that bull market. So we look at the levels. We look at short-term levels, medium-term levels, long-term levels, and essentially, obviously, the level we've been waiting for this whole bear market. Remember, I sold a year ago around $3, $2.80. Yes, I kept some of my position, maybe too much of it, but I made enough. 30 cents to $3, even if I sold 50% of my position, which I sold more of, that is essentially a 10x move. The way I do that is by looking at the charts, understanding the news, not getting too exciting, understanding the sentiment, understanding the market perception, understanding how much money's flowing, and understanding when a bull market ends and when a bear market ends, and trying to, again, I can't predict it to the date, I can't predict it to the cent, but we can look at structures that will help us identify that. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're looking at one of the most important levels we've been mentioning since that peak, which is $1. The $1 is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And here we are at $1 for XRP. Many people said we'll never see $1 again. It's going past $2. It's never going to see $2 again. It went past $3. We're never going to see $3 again. I've been in the opposite camp, and here we are at $1. Yes, that's an unpopular opinion. Yes, when I put my bear market video out on XRP, when XRP has $2.80, I've got a lot of dislikes, I've got a lot of unsubscriptions, but I don't care. I want to do the right thing. So we're here at $1. What's going to happen? I have no idea. I can't predict the future. I'm not like the other YouTubers that tell you, okay, what's going to happen here is we're definitely going to go up to $1.20. Then we're going to break that down to 93 cents. Then we're going to go up to $1. And then we're going to bottom out at 80 cents exactly. And then here comes the bull market. Impossible to say. I don't know what's going to happen. All I can do is use my charting knowledge, use my news knowledge, and use my understanding of cycles, using my understanding of human sentiment to make an educated guess, but not only make an educated guess, prepare myself for all scenarios. And by preparing for all scenarios, you win. If you're prepared for the downside, you win. If you're prepared for the upside, you win. If you're not only because you can make a trade, but your emotions are in check. It means you won't FOMO. It means you won't panic sell. It means you are prepared. And that's the idea of looking at real news, real charts, controlling emotions, looking at limit orders, looking at cycles, looking at patterns, and trying to put it all together. So whether you're right or wrong, you're prepared for all scenarios. And if your research points to specific directions, you're a little bit more prepared for that scenario. So what scenario am I most prepared for? Well, I'm most prepared for a scenario where XRP does go lower, where XRP does bottom out in the next 6 months, and where XRP does go into a bull market and make new all-time highs. That's the scenario I'm prepared for. So what does that mean on a more deeper level? It kind of means, okay, XRP is probably going to break below $1. Where would I buy some more? Well, I need to have my limit order set up. For me, those levels are 93 cents and 80 cents. And then I'll be keeping an eye on my Sensei momentum band, my Sensei trigger alert. These are my momentum indicators, which are based off academic research, not just some AI bot they're just trying to sell you something. This is based off academic evidence. We created these trading indicators, very much moving averages, very much the only thing that works in the market, which is momentum. One of the only things that gives you an edge is momentum. So that's what the indicators are used for. So that's the more dynamic one. And the one that's more set in stone is my limit orders. Again, 1 or 2 times a year, you get big capitulation events where the crypto market deleverages and you get sudden moves down. And sometimes they mark the final capitulation of a bear market. We saw that in 2019. We saw that in 2022. And we might see that here in 2026. So I'm prepared to buy some more at 93 cents. I'm prepared to buy some more at 80 cents. I think we will go down to both those levels in this bear market. Now, if I'm wrong and XRP's bottomed out $1 and we suddenly go to the moon, am I out of the market? No, because I've started buying back in at $1.05 at $1. So my average for this cycle is about $1 and $1.02, $1.03. It's $1.02 is essentially my average for this cycle. So if we do go up to all-time highs, I've got skin in the game. I'll look for different patterns in the bull market to, if I know the momentum is going high, I can buy at $2 knowing it's going to $5 if the bear market has ended. So I still have some skin in the game if we go into bull market, but I'm more prepared for us to go down a bit further. So in that scenario, what I think is going to happen in the next 6 months, will bottom out for XRP. It could be this month, it could be in the next 3 months, but in the next 6 months, ultimately, that's when the crypto market will bottom out for Bitcoin and maybe the top few cryptocurrencies. The rest of the altcoin market tends to bleed until an altcoin season. Whether or not that comes is a different question. Anyway, I'm prepared mostly for a scenario where XRP breaks $1, maybe has a little bit of a rally up to $1.20, $1.10, maybe takes some small short-term trades, and then ultimately capitulates, maybe goes down to 93 cents and 80 cents. Now, can we go lower? Yes, we can go lower, and often it goes lower than you expect. I'm prepared for as low as a 50 cents XRP. If XRP goes to 0, I'm also prepared for that. I'm not all in.
At Corellis Special 720 tipped $5 through Super Chat. Thanks for the valuable info, Sensei. I don't even need to watch my TA guys anymore. Martyn Lucas investor channels have it all. I appreciate you.
That is such a nice comment. Thank you, Carolee Special 720. I appreciate it. Thank you for your super chat. So as I said, the scenario I'm prepared for most is probably going down to 80 cents, buying some more there. I'll be about 75% position for the bull market at that point. I'll have some more cash on the side in case we capitulate lower. At 93 cents, I'll be about 40% position for the cycle. And worst case, if we go higher and I identify the bear market's over, then I can add to my position a little bit higher and at least remember, adding to a position when it's higher, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It actually could be a more reliable bet because you could be more confident in the move up. So anyway, I'll be sharing that. It can be as simple as be prepared for every scenario, which is essentially what I try and teach, because that's the most important thing. but it can be as complicated as each of the limit orders. How does the bear market structure and how does the bull market structure start? And that's what we look at, and we try and break down every single week in our Sunday shows and our Sunday newsletter with the XRP Weekly. And as I said, I think the lowest it can realistically go is 50 cents. I'm prepared for that. At that point, I'll be 100% positioned at around 50 cents. That is quite possible. I would say a 20% chance of that happening this cycle. So fairly possible. So I am prepared for that. If we hit 50 cents, I'll be 100% positioned at that point. By 80 cents, I'll probably be about 70% positioned anyway. But I am also prepared for 20 cents, 0 cents, because I'm not all in. So I'm not going to lose all my money. I'm not going to lose a significant chunk of my net worth because the XRP goes to 0. I don't think it's ever going to 0. I don't think it's ever going to see 20 cents again. Maybe we see 30 cents again. Maybe we see 40 cents, but very unlikely we see 30 cents. Maybe 10%, 5% chance we see 40 cents again. But I'm prepared for it to go down to 40 cents. I'm prepared for it to get down to 0 because I haven't put in more than I can afford to lose. And when you're looking at crypto, you don't put in more than you can afford to lose. Most realistic scenario, in my opinion, we go to $1. We might suddenly drop to 95 cents, 93 cents, have a spike up to $1.10, everyone FOMOs back in, then we drop back down, and then we slowly grind down into one final capitulation where everyone gets deleveraged, XRP hits 80 cents, and then we can sort of mark that as the low for this cycle. Maybe something like that. Again, we need to keep an eye out for every scenario and reassess. It's very hard to say exactly what's going to happen. So that's the XRP chart. Brad Garlinghouse live in 34 minutes. Where are we going? Well, we're going to this event over here.
Are kind of the primary thing.
This is the Jackson Hole day one, and Brad Garlinghouse, it's the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium at Jackson Hole. Day one, Brad Garlinghouse will be speaking here shortly. So we'll go over to that. If you have just tuned in, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. I said I'll check the likes, and I hope you guys haven't let me down. Did we hit it? I'm confident. I believe in you guys. 125 likes. Did we hit it? 87. Let me refresh. I believe in you guys. I'm so confident. I'll be crushed if we haven't. Let me do it. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. 174. Oh my God. Wow, wow, wow. 174 likes. I did not expect that. I was confident in you guys. But 174, that's more than enough. I appreciate that. Every single person hit the like button at that point. Wow. If you haven't done so already, do hit it. But look at that. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, so let's have a drink of water. Let's get ready for Brad Garlinghouse to come on stage. Oh my God. How about this? Coincidentally, I've got my Brad Garlinghouse mug. Brad Garlinghouse is on the mug today. This is from when he went in Senate. It says, Senator, XRP is not a security. It's probably a bit backwards on screen, but there it is. Brad Garlinghouse is on my mug, and that was a complete coincidence. I asked my wife to get me a glass of water, and look what she put it in. Brad Garling, is that a sign? I don't know. Brad Garlinghouse with the XRP logo on the mug. You can go to martynlucasshop.com to get your Martyn Lucas merch. This one's gone though. This one's limited edition. No more Brad Garlinghouse mug, but there's definitely lots of merch still available. I remember when Brad was young, says God. What do you mean? What do you remember him from? Will we not watch all Human Being Liz? If we were going to watch it all Human Being Liz, it is about I think it runs for about 10 hours. I think we might fall asleep Human Being Liz. There's quite a few I'll probably write some analysis on the most important ones in the newsletter, but we probably won't watch it all. It would take a 10-hour stream. There's not, and it's not all. I mean, what I care about and what most of the audience care about is Brad Garlinghouse. Some of them more important speeches, potentially the 24/7 trading, which has that started. Let me go to my reminder here. What do we have? 9:25. Oh yeah, so we've got 24/7 markets. Let me just see if that starts on time. 9:25. Maybe we can catch a bit of this one. So that would be 3 minutes ago. No, we've got a one-on-one here. It seems.
I would be paying attention to Hyperliquid and what they're doing. They just filed a really interesting comment letter about pre-IPO perps this morning, which I think
I think this is.
If the SEC does really want to modernize the IPO process, pre-IPO perps are a far.
I think this is Tushar. So we might be running a little bit behind. This looks like it's Tushar from Multicoin. Let's just confirm that. Have a look at Tushar. Let's see if it's the same person. Multicoin from Multicoin. Tushar. Multicoin. Yes, this looks like Tushar. So this is Tushar, and I think we've got Tushar on stage now. So yeah, so this is live up to date. So Tushar is from Multicoin, and he is speaking right now with Jeff John Roberts, the moderator from Fortune. I think it'll be interesting to catch the next one, which will start any moment now, which is 24/7 trading, making new normal markets. That'll be some from Canton, TradeWeb, the NASDAQ, Customer Bank, and that's moderated by Jacqueline. And then right after that, we'll go straight into Brad Garlinghouse. It might be worth trying to catch onto the 24/7 trading, and then we'll go straight into that. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for this. Let me open on another tab so I can keep an eye on it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he's off, I think. Okay. 24/7 trading next. Guys, if you have just tuned in, we have just done that XRP chart analysis. You can grab that every Sunday in the XRP Weekly. If you don't have the newsletter yet, as I just mentioned earlier, you can get the chart training course, the trading view indicators, the net worth tracker, the daily newsletters, the $5,000 portfolio challenge. Have I said that already? And the extra perk we're putting out. And again, as I said, with that extra perk comes a price increase, but not if you sign up now. You'll be grandfathered into the price. You'll never pay any more. And if you want to join that, the link is the first link in the description, or it's also pinned. Here we go with the next event. So yeah, let's see what we've got going on. Yeah, 24/7 marketing trading, the market, the new normal. So yeah, on 6th of December, we're looking at US equities to move to 23 hours a day, 5 days a week, not a proposal. That's the SEC approved NASDAQ plan for April the 10th. Clearing went live on the 29th of June. So we're looking at that on the 6th of December. Then overnight sessions run from 9 to 4 New York time, 1 hour pause each evening for corporate actions, limited order types, weekends untouched. What else? So we're going to listen in for potentially Ruse calling rival chains meme coins. Oh, let's see. Apparently there's a bit of controversy on this one. There'll be conflict on the panel. TradeWeb is an investor in digital asset. It co-led the 135 round in June 2025 and invested again in the 355 round. Okay. Yeah, Ruse and Bruna are commercial partners. Interesting. Let's go over to it. It's starting now. So guys, this is the, I'm going to pause it, but we'll get live up to date before Brad comes out. This is just starting now, 24/7 markets trading. This is one of the panels, and then that goes straight into Brad Garlinghouse. If you want to see the XRP analysis, just scroll back maybe 20 minutes and you can see the XRP chart, and then come back live up to date with Brad Garlinghouse. Here we go, 24/7 trading.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Hope you guys had a nice lunch. I am Jacqueline Melnick. I am the founder and CEO of Strata Media. And more importantly, I have the pleasure of being on stage today with Yuval Ruse, the co-founder and CEO of Digital Asset and Canton Network, and then Chris Brunner, the Chief Product Officer at TradeWeb, Kevin Kennedy, Executive VP of North American Markets at NASDAQ, and Sam Sidhu, the President and CEO of Customers Bank. I think maybe let's start with a very basic, straightforward question on the title of the panel. Is 24/7 trading actually inevitable? And what are you guys seeing in each of your respective businesses that makes you feel confident about where we're headed?
Who wants to jump in? I think it's already happening. Right? So I think the evidence we're seeing shows that there is demand for a lot of the products. And for TradeWeb, coming from being a large OTC institutional trading platform, we think that it's very important that the underlying cash markets can also have liquidity, and it's not just in the derivative markets above them. So we do actually see 24/7 trading coming. We think it's kind of table stakes, and I think there's a lot of announcements from our peers about it happening in other marketplaces. For us to see it happen successfully on weekends and off hours, a few major pieces have to happen. Like one, we think there will be a big OTC component. You're going to have a lot of specialization of protocols and how you provide liquidity in those types of marketplaces. And then I think there's a lot of components that have to come together with collateral and repo that I think we may talk about a little bit in terms of supporting like a real institutional marketplace for 3,000 institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. And one thing that I will mention is we've seen crypto markets be first to 24/7 because, again, if you trade derivatives, you need to manage kind of the margin to manage the risk. And, crypto markets came with stable coins, so it was very easy to, companies like Hyperliquid and others say, well, we can actually manage risk 24/7. It's not just to enable price discovery, it's how do we manage the risk on the back end. I think what's even more exciting, though, is that 24/7 trading of assets is not just price discovery related. Later this month, we'll do the first transaction together with Tradeweb, where a major global corporate will actually start managing their treasury management over the weekend. So right now, you kind of go into yield products really just during trading hours, and you have some latency associated with it. But if you could actually carry some of your yield products into the weekend and just be able to liquidate it, because now you can trade over the weekend, you actually get a much better return on your balance sheet. So I think we're not going to see only 24/7 usage of trading just for price discovery. I think you're also going to see a lot of other activities that can benefit from 24/7 trading.
Yeah, I would just add from our perspective at Customers Bank, we have a 24/7 liquidity pool for digital asset trading and settlement, here in the U.S. And while the markets are open 24/7, most of the activity is happening typically Monday through Friday. What you do see in the traditional capital markets is that there's a little bit of post-market closing settlement that happens post 4 o'clock. There's a bit of Asian retail, so there's a good amount of demand that will likely increase from the 10% plus or minus from where it is today, to a larger once the rails are open. But I think some of the traditional market players that participate in the digital asset industry that have a small sleeve of capital with us, like the Jane Streets, the HRTs, et cetera, of the world that represent majority of the global trading, are not banging the table demanding.
Do you remember the story we did on Jane Street?
23/5 is probably here. Kevin can speak more to it, and likely in December with NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, and DTCC is already sort of tokenizing, with some pilots this summer and a full launch later this year.
So I'll go back to your original question. I thought Yuval, Sam, and Brian Chris made great answers, but the path is inevitable. And you think about it, capital, information, and risk is there 24/7 today. But the question's going to be, it's not whether it happens, it's whether it happens the correct way, the appropriate way, which is where, from where I sit, just so you know what I do for a living, I oversee the traditional exchanges. So think of that as 3 Canadian exchanges, 3 NASDAQ equities exchanges, and 6 options exchanges. And there's actually, and hopefully we get to it, there may be opportunities in the short run in options as well. But the question is doing it right. It's really the exchanges, the current exchanges are the last thing that are still on a schedule. And come December 6th, we won't be on that schedule anymore. But we really want to bring not just liquidity, but the right amount of liquidity. We want to bring industrial-grade guardrails. We want to bring transparency, which you'll get with the Securities Information Processor, which is called SIP. And we want to bring the TRF along, the Trade Report Facility. So those things combined, I think, can put the institutions a lot more comfortable place to then trust, and that's a word you'll hear me say a few times today, trust the infrastructure that we're trying to build.
Mm-hmm. Before Sam mentioned 23/5, which is definitely in the play right now. We're talking about 24/7 too, but would you say that 24/7 trading is actually being demanded by institutions and retail investors, or is it being more pushed from infrastructure firms that want to see this go forward? And if so, on the former, then what is the overnight volume really looking like in those late hours where we're seeing traction, perhaps?
Happy to jump in.
Yeah.
We've had 23/5 for 15 or 20 years now in the Treasury market. And so there is demand from institutions. And we do see that overnight. And we've spent a lot of time even trying to get to that. We still do need a window, and we're working on closing that to get to really 24/5. And then we've built a 24/7 trading system already. It's just not rolled out for our core institutional clients on the major asset classes. So I'm with you. I think we really need to make sure this works at scale, meaning you need to bring liquidity providers, and their services need to be, of the quality of the liquidity that our largest institutional clients are going to need. But to your point, like, the risk is there, the geopolitical events are there, and every proof point we see, I actually don't really agree with this characterization that, like, everything's retail. I think, when we saw Iran crisis blow up, it was actually, we heard bank desks trading oil perpetual futures on Hyperliquid, as well as a lot of other clients. So I think if you have the risk, which you do, and our clients manage many trillions of dollars, then they do need these capabilities. So the demand is kind of inherently there. I think the derivatives markets are amazing, and there's a lot of great information that comes from derivatives markets that are really valuable. And it's always interesting to me, you don't need that full institutional liquidity for it to provide the information value. But as the world keeps moving on and we get to agentic AI, you're going to need to have an open marketplace at all times and be able to move material risk. Like, we're talking about the swaps market. We're talking about, $1 billion of treasuries in 10 minutes. Are the types of things that we're really aiming for and preparing for. And I guess the last
very
piece there
interesting
is,
conversation.
24/7
markets.
Liquidity. I think the
Just going to mute it for a second and let anyone who's just joined in. Brad Garlinghouse is live right after this chat about 24/7 markets and the liquidity needed there. So Brad Garlinghouse, straight after that, very interesting. I wonder if he'll mention anything about 24/7 markets. But let's see, more importantly, is Brad Garlinghouse going to back up the XRP investors, or is he going to leave them stranded and focus on Ripple as a company and not use XRP? That's the other side of the coin. That's the other side of the narrative. Let's continue to watch. 20 minutes time, Brad will be on stage. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button and check out the discount on sensei.news in the link down below and also pinned.
80% of the volume is in the opening and closing auction. That doesn't mean that equity markets should be closed at noon, right? I think that, Iran is a good example of not having that capability will draw people to go to other venues. So I think liquidity profiles will be smaller over the weekend on average, but you're going to have these events that do happen over the weekend, and you do see that in treasury markets and commodities that are do open in different hours than equity markets, that now suddenly if there's an event happening in after hours, there is significant volume. Yeah. And I think that the biggest challenge is how to get the large institutional players that, for example, on treasuries have been wired to provide liquidity. I remember when I was at Citadel and DRW, there was a trading desk for the treasuries in the after hours, and everybody knew how to manage their risk in the after hours. You're just going to keep on adding more and more of these asset classes that will now be available 24/7.
Liquidity doesn't have to be as good after hours or on the weekend, as long as it has the capacity to scale up when it needs to. And I think you also can't have just a bunch of derivatives markets with no liquidity in the underlying market for too long. Right? So that's important, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Is there anyone against this? Like maybe the people who don't want to monitor this or work on the weekends, but anyone else, like executive level or companies that are like, no thanks, we don't want this?
I don't think at an executive level. I mean, listen, I think to some extent, I mean, are banks against moving money in real time? To some extent, it was very convenient where to do a run on a bank, you had to go to the bank physically and take your money out in physical form. And it made it easier now that you have electronic money. So I think that there's always going to be this, push and shove. I mean, like pull and shove. But at the end of the day, I think that when you talk to most executives, they understand that this is where it's going. So for the most part, it's not kind of, are they going to do it? It's where is it falling currently in the priority versus AI, geopolitics, interest rates. So it's happening. I think most institutional clients right now are just trying to figure out, again, like I said, if you were at one of the trading shops, they know very well how to horizontally scale costs across the organization. I think large institutions are less better at that. So they need to figure out, because the volume profile is going to be weaker over the weekend, I can't build a vertical offering on every asset class. They'll need to figure out how to horizontally scale that capability within an organization.
Kevin, I see you speaking.
Yeah, so Jacqueline,
Please.
you know me a little bit, but my two favorite things are talking about the markets and using metaphors. And to your exact question,
This
is anyone
guy's
still
from the
against
NASDAQ.
this? I don't think so at the executive level. But what I'd say the metaphor I like is I think it's a bit of a stop order. I think it's as institutions have been looking
XRP below $1 now.
2018, 2022.
Where does it stop?
I was right to not do anything. Now it's different. It's not about
Right.
It's not about Bitcoin. It's about tokenization. It's about the plumbing. It's not even just tokenization. It's about what tokenization is going to unlock. And I think we're at that point where like the stop orders are starting to get triggered.
Sam, how important is the banking layer here?
The banking layer is critical. I mean, you heard Yuval talking about sort of the changes in the banking layer that has resulted in sort of the changes from the physical run of the bank to needing sort of wire rooms that could be open. We have a 24/7 network. We sort of move, as a $26 billion bank, we move billions of dollars over a weekend. Over a year, we do about $2 trillion of volume, probably up to $2.5 trillion or so this year. So we're really turning our balance sheet a lot, through sort of our payments capabilities. The digital asset industry in the U.S. could not really have operated over the past couple of years without having Customers Bank and sort of the global liquidity pool and the network that we have. We have the exchanges, the stablecoin providers, the market makers, the investors, the custodians, the banks are all sort of on the network and able to sort of do interesting things. We also indirectly help, collateral move, the form of the, sort of proxy, atomic settlement in the sense that a custodian can be moving the asset at the same time as the dollar is moving. So we are, have an ability to do that. That's not sort of necessarily possible on an interbank basis, but on an intrabank basis, we can do some pretty interesting things. So I think 24/7 can move. Yuval touched on it. There's the banks like sticky deposits. Sticky deposit means friction. Friction creates franchise value. And there's a lot of complexity. Plus, you have banks that typically don't have the tech capability to even think about how can we sort of build those rails and how can we manage those rails. It's one thing to send a dollar or receive a dollar on a weekend, but what happens to that dollar? If it's doing the same thing as sending your Venmo to Kevin, he doesn't actually have access to that dollar unless he's sending another Venmo onwards. It's not really that useful.
Yeah, who ultimately gets the dollar? Maybe to something that Chris was talking about before too on the front of repos is like one issue that keeps coming up is collateral mobility. And if institutions are going to trade 24/7, does that mean the cash and collateral also need to become 24/7? And how do we kind of think about that when it comes to things like repo markets or something else?
Must.
It must be.
You won't have liquidity unless both trade.
And then people wouldn't touch it either, right?
No, I mean, again,
Or they
I think take the simplest example. If you don't have collateral mobility, you can have derivative markets. I mean, it's just if you don't have the spot market being able to move in real time, you won't have a lot of liquidity in these assets. And again, then you go into the world of credit, and then financing activity becomes critical, and that's where repo markets come into play. So all of these things feed each other. At the end of the day, there has been multiple attempts in the U.S., for example, to create equity markets that were natural buyers against natural sellers, and we've seen they've never succeeded. You really need to have all of these intermediaries, all of these different instruments, all of them playing nicely with one another, and that's how you really build large-scale activity. We, for example, now are close to $500 billion of repo a day. We're already seeing that the customers are seeing the benefits. I think within the next 12 months, we're going to cross the $1 trillion a day in notional in the repo market. I think you're going to see pretty much every major platform from Tradeweb, Bloomberg, BrokerTec, Broadridge, all driving repo activity. And you're going to see that repo activity will start becoming much shorter timelines, and that will actually allow to new products, on-chain products to exist. So I just think that we're going to see within the next 2 to 3 years securities lending, repo, and a lot to do with collateral. I think that collateral mobility will be one of the best use cases for this technology.
Yeah, I think interestingly, some people ask, do you need blockchain or digital asset rails for 24/7 trading? Because in theory, you don't. You could just settle on a Monday and keep doing what we're doing, but in reality, you absolutely do. And it's because of the repo markets and because of needing programmable collateral. And it's taking a little bit of time still, but like the banking layer for cash, but then all the prime services above that, that's where the funding comes from in our marketplaces, institutionally. It's not people getting leverage on perps. It's people having billions and billions of treasuries with their prime broker that they can then repo out when they need liquidity, but they can also earn yield when they want to earn yield. And then they can apply as much leverage as they need, and the system provides them leverage. So right now, that system works pretty well, but it's not programmable at all. And so if you do want large-scale institutional trading on weekends, your prime broker is probably going to need to have your collateral be programmable and accessible.
I actually would say that it's not really working well. It's working, just to give context. I mean, there's about $40 trillion of what I would call eligible collateral that is unused in the world right now. So I mean, just think about what does that number can mean for markets if you can now have access to $40 trillion that now can be used all over the world.
Yeah, but how do you get it to be active?
Well, that's the reason why it's not active is if you're a trading firm or if you're a bank or if you're a global corporate, you need to think about your operation globally. And right now, if you know that getting one asset class from the US to Japan is taking you X amount of time, you're saying, I cannot really use this collateral in Japan right now for my trading activity in the US, even though that's where I should really use it. Because right now there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of stuff that is happening in the US. That is what we call, eligible collateral that is effectively sitting idle in a lot of jurisdictions. So right now, the estimate is that there's $40 trillion of what you would call eligible collateral that is sitting in all kinds of jurisdictions that you could actually use it elsewhere, but because of the lack of mobility of collateral, it's really sitting idle. So the idea behind doing the project with DTCC around tokenizing US Treasuries and US equities, we just recently announced with Mizuho, MUFG, and JSCC on JGBs, is really how to create this mobilization of collateral that would really allow much more trading to take place. Because now if you are
Guys, this guy's from the Canton
saying,
network.
I have this balance sheet in
Canton
Japan,
crypto.
and now I can bring it to the US to do some trading activity in the US. And when the US closes, I can move it all back to Japan to do my trading in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's fair. If it's even worked well enough to get us to here, it absolutely isn't sufficient to get us to where we need to go.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of an analogy with what's happening with the energy infrastructure around AI, and that's a little bit like programmable collateral for financial markets, right? Is we need many X the demand, I think, to really have a 24/7 marketplace that works institutionally. And I think there's a massive multi-billion-dollar unlock every day and be able to use the yield, the risk efficiently. And then that will flow into these other things where you need to invest that collateral and up your trading velocity. So you're right.
Where do you all see digital cash and tokenized deposits playing a role in this? Could that ultimately be like what helps with 24/7 settlement practicality, if that's a word?
I think that I go back to the comment I made before, like a tokenized deposit as an example is really just, in some ways it feels like using a sledgehammer to open up a nut, right? Like at the end of the day, it's complicated. It can't be fully programmable. It requires banks to really cooperate, et cetera. Cash is digital, and we have an ability intra-bank, because that's the only solution we could really solve, to allow customers to have extreme programmability, bespoke customization, really like SaaS-like type features. The rails in the industry do need to change broadly for there to be broad adoption, or at a minimum, there need to be sort of good last mile rails like FedNow, RTP, that allow the interbank to sort of work where the receivers also settle in real time as well, not just sort of showing up in an omnibus. And
we are talking 24/7 markets right now. This is day one of the Wyoming Blockchain Summit. We are live and up to date with this. And next will be Brad Garlinghouse straight after this. I don't think there's a single break, no break. Right after this 24/7 market is Brad Garlinghouse. He needs to come on and give some hope to the XRP investors, because right now XRP is struggling to hold $1. My prediction is we're going to have a sell the news, potentially a little pump if he says the right thing. and then over the next couple days or weeks we'll head lower, but we will see if that's true. Let's see if $1 holds for a good bounce. We'll see. Either way, I believe that we'll come lower, but I might be wrong. I'm prepared for all scenarios. Let's get back to the blockchain summit. Brad Garlinghouse will be live next, right after the end of the 24/7 market commentary.
FX plus bank-to-bank digital cash. I think that where banks, you asked earlier, do banks have a big role to play? I think if they get their act together, they have an advantage, in my opinion, that stablecoin today, I think certain stablecoins have in jurisdictions from a retail perspective, good distribution. But when you actually look at the developed world and even developing countries, banks have a huge advantage from a distribution perspective, which is a big part of making this thing successful. But they need to move. So, we're seeing some banks now moving faster, and we're going to see. But we're also seeing some solutions, whether it's the clearinghouse, SWIFT is now trying to do some things about bank-to-bank settlement. But I think we're going to see more and more solutions where potentially liquidity providers can actually be the bridge of liquidity across banks. And they effectively can offer both FX and liquidity across banks.
Yeah, and as messy as trading might have been before, we didn't have to worry about clients choosing what their cash leg was. So now we're preparing for a world where client A may actually want to use a bank deposit token and client B may want traditional cash or a stable coin. Can we provide that for them when they really just want to trade a treasury? But if the salary of the treasury just wants fiat dollars, but they don't want to send them fiat dollars, they want their prime broker to just move instantly their USDC, it'd be great to end up in the world where that's an easy thing to do. We're not there yet. And I think stablecoins so far have been the dominant cash leg for the on-chain activity that we've been doing on a 24/7 basis for repo. But it makes sense because it's the only thing that can move around on the weekends, and it's for crypto liquidity providers and others that want to use that funding in that world. So I think there's still juries out on how this will evolve. It's not clear to us that stablecoins will power all of or a lot of institutional trading. It could be digital bank deposit tokens. It could be a couple layers, like a wholesale layer between the banks. And then, Yuval, you mentioned the clearinghouses, right? They're integrated to Canton as well, right? So it's basically payment systems for all the institutional trading that happens behind them as well coming to digital rails. And so, again, for us, that provides a brand new problem, which is all the clients are going to want, you have to support all these different cash legs. And so we see that being a solvable problem, but it's going to take a little time. And it would be nice to see the timelines coming from the bank deposit token side in particular.
Yeah. I want to kind of get the perspective too from Yuval on the front of digital assets, been building infrastructure for many years for institutional blockchain applications. And I think maybe my question here is what have you learned about what financial institutions and banks actually need versus what the industry assumed they wanted? And then from the bank and exchange side at the end, what has been put in front of you guys where you're like, wow, pass. And then other things where you're like, wow, that's actually interesting. And maybe it has already come to market or you guys are in talks about it.
Brad Garlinghouse live in minutes. We'll go straight to it. It's straight after this. 24-hour trading now. Brad Garlinghouse next.
But now that we've actually started, I think that a lot of times people think about the applications and the opportunity of blockchain, and they don't understand the reality of a bank that have been built on legacy systems for 30 plus years. Like when we did the first repo trade on a weekend, one of the banks that participated realized that they don't have the capability of booking a trade with Saturday being the trade date. The systems just were not programmed to book trades on Saturday and Sunday. So I think that what we've been trying to do is really think about how do you integrate these settlement layers in a way that disrupt the bank's way of doing business the least amount. And where you could do that, you're going to see adoption much faster. I'll give you an example. We announced a partnership with NASDAQ. They acquired a company called Calypso. Calypso does collateral management for a lot of banks. And the idea is you do an integration once into Calypso, and now you can go to a lot of the banks that are using them and say, well, now we can do collateral management without you having to really change the way you're doing your business. because now your service provider is doing that. Think about like today you could send collateral using Swift messages. Tomorrow you can do that using Canton. Nothing have changed in the core way of doing business. Similarly speaking, when we're going to announce this treasury use case, we're doing it with.
He is from Canton, speaking one of the cryptocurrencies involved in this sort of tokenization 24/7 markets. Anyway, 1 minute to go. Maybe there'll be a couple seconds late, a couple minutes late. It'll be right after this. It is on the Blockchain Symposium. It will be live right after this. Brad Garlinghouse, he needs to save XRP. We need some good news from XRP. There is a sentiment going around now that Brad Garlinghouse just cares about Ripple. They don't need XRP. That is the sort of sentiment that's not needed for XRP to reach new all-time highs and to find a bottom this bear market. So let's see, does he save the day? Brad Garlinghouse live next, right on this show, right after this 24/7 markets. It will be right after here. So guys, if you are here live with us, hit the like button. Let me know, are you still holding XRP? I want the chat to go crazy. Are you holding XRP? Yes or no? Spam the chat. You're not allowed to spam the chat most of the time, but when I give you permission, you can. Yes or no in the chat. Do you hold XRP? Yes or no? Spam the chat. Make it go crazy. Do it like you've never done so before. Copy and paste, yes or no. Brad Garlinghouse will be live shortly on the show. I'm going to change the timer to a couple minutes because I think everything's been running a little bit late at the Blockchain Symposium. Let's go back to 24/7 markets. Brad Garlinghouse will be live next. Here we go.
And the innovation that comes out of each conversation, even from our lunch today, Yuval, is eye-opening. And if it's eye-opening to me, who's been in the markets for 40 years, and I know there's a lot of digital experts here, I think it will be a great convergence. Like DeFi and TradFi are not in competition anymore. This is all about building good, solid plumbing that will grow the market. And I do want to share just a little bit of data because we talked about institutional trading, and I look at the volume data a lot. And I'll say pre-COVID,
guys, smash the like button. Do you hold it? Yes or no? And smash the like button.
Today, last quarter, the U.S. equities markets had never in a quarter averaged over 19 billion. It was 18.9 not too long ago. And in Q2 of this year, it went right to 20. So as these things like Hyperliquid and others get traction, and I don't know if I'll talk about them today, but prediction markets, perps, they're also complementary if we build the right plumbing. And I think what we'll learn 2, 3, 4 years from now, and I think it continues to accelerate, is the market's going to grow exponentially. It wouldn't surprise me, and I know we're not making predictions, but 30, 40 billion shares a day in equities is very easily attainable.
All right, you brought up perps, so we'll talk about them. It's a very hot topic. Everyone, I feel like, is obsessed with perpetual futures right now. How do you guys think about that fitting into the 24/7 trading market? And is the demand actually matching what the public perception is currently?
I can just finish my thought and then open it up to others. When I think about perpetual futures, I think, again, like I just said, I think they're very complementary because they're a derivative product, and options back in the 70s when they started in Chicago, they've been nothing but additive to overall volume, and they've been nothing but additive to liquidity. You get a better market if there are derivatives. You get more hedging, you get more interaction. And when it comes to perpetual futures, I just think if investors want either one of two things. They want true ownership, and they want a voting right, and they want every corporate action, or they want exposure. And they both work. Like, exposure is good. And the more that investors want exposure, the more the liquidity providers provide that exposure and then spin their liquidity.
Brad Garlinghouse live in just a minute on the show. There is a poll running right now. Look at the pinned comment. Martyn has just posted a poll. Look at the pinned comment. Please go and vote on that poll. Here we go. We're now literally minutes away from Brad Garlinghouse. Is he going to save the day? XRP at the most pivotal level it can be, $1. Will it hold or will we capitulate? Let's see what Brad Garlinghouse has to say.
Products you can offer them if you can give them the right product and they can trade it, and it's got liquidity, right? So some of these things were only available to large institutions or hedge funds or advanced strategies. So it's interesting to see retail pick up most of the perps that are coming, right? And that crypto innovation is definitely channeling over into a lot of our asset classes. And so for us, we see it as like one extra tool in the toolbox. And the whole cannibalization argument hasn't really played out. It was cash markets, it was futures markets, it's options markets, now you've got perps. They are mostly retail so far, so we're not like worried or believers that our institutional clients are going to migrate too quickly to just perps. because there's, especially in fixed income, there's so much complexity and sophistication and duration management and a lot of other pieces. So for us, we do a ton of basis trading between cash markets and futures markets and derivatives markets. Having one more variable just gives you one more opportunity. And so we do see there being demand, because there might be a lot of people that want exposure to our markets, but they don't want to invest in like sophisticated hedge fund style strategies. But if they get a really pure way to invest in 10-year treasury duration with a certain amount of leverage, and there's liquidity in that product, it doesn't have to remain just a retail product. I think if we get the collateral mobility, if we get repo markets, we get a few of these other precursors, you can see some institutional trading in these products as well. We think including prediction markets.
Yeah, I think that perps have just shown that they give a very good user experience to get leverage exposure to a very simple outcome, right? At the end of the day, options give you much more variables to have a very controlled kind of like outcome that you're trying to aim for. And as a result of that, you need to learn Greeks and you need to learn, option pricing, and it's very complicated. So I don't think that we're seeing options going anywhere because, again, institutions will want that level of sophistication. But I also think that when people will want to say, I want to take a bet on the 30-year duration with leverage, and that's a very simple kind of outcome that you want, well, it would be much easier to achieve it with a perp than with an option. And therefore, as long as the option is, the perp is priced fairly, you would use a perp. And I just think that, as Chris says, it's just another tool that is going to be added, and I think that you're going to see institutional adoption there as well.
Yeah, and like you said, price fairly. Jury's still out with some of the RWA perps, right? So you will not see a lot of success institutionally with RWA perps if the funding rates are 10 to 12%. It just won't be. It has to be much closer to arbable with now, but you will see active arbitrage from sophisticated players to help get it to institutional rates if it's a product that clients want to trade.
Is there limitations to this in terms of like what's actually possible of using it and the existing
I wouldn't say that there's
frameworks?
inherently a limitation. I think that currently perps, for example, because again, it's retail, and I think that that's part of the reason why they're not as capital efficient. Perps don't allow you, for example, to pledge the underlying as collateral, right? And
Okay, Brad Garlinghouse was scheduled to speak now. I assume it's going to be 1 or 2 minutes later. So literally within the next minute or two, Brad Garlinghouse is scheduled to speak. He was scheduled to speak a minute ago. They are running, I think, 1 or 2 or 3 minutes behind. So any minute now, Brad Garlinghouse taking the stage. Hit the like button, subscribe, check out the newsletter if you care about XRP, because every Sunday we release our XRP newsletter with the XRP chart with the real news. We're not here as a channel to hype up $1,000 XRP, $500 XRP. We're here to make money. Last cycle, I bought XRP at 30 cents, sold it at $3. I intend to make money this cycle as well. People hated it when I came out with a bear market video at $3, $2.80, and I sold my XRP. We lost subscribers, but we did the right thing. And hopefully we can do the same today. Let's see. Brad Garlinghouse will be on stage any second now. Hit the like button, subscribe any second now.
Amazing. It's a great question, right?
yeah, I mean, both. I mean,
So
yes.
it's worth it, but we're going to have things
there,
to iron out.
you're definitely going to have things that trade on your behalf.
Right.
I mean, I did algo trading. I mean, we traded algorithmically. I mean, we didn't call it agents, but we had algos and servers and risk limits that were trading all the time without having a trader actually.
You just gave it a cooler name now. Yeah.
No. I mean, it's a good name, and at the end of the day, it is definitely going to be a big part of the volume that is going to happen during after hours, and at the same time, you will need to have better risk monitoring tools to keep track of them, not just because of the after hours, also during hours. No different how, for those that remember, Knight Capital went down because they didn't have good risk controls when they uploaded the wrong algo. And that empire fell down in 40 minutes for having a bad algo in there. So you could have also a bad agent, not just during the after hours, also during hours. And as a result of that, you will have to build better risk.
XRP regained $1 before Brad Garlinghouse speaks. Are we going to pump or dump? We've got a poll running in the live chat. Brad, vote. And we've also got a pinned comment with a poll on X as well. Vote in both. Will XRP pump or dump before Brad Garlinghouse speaks? Well, we'll find out shortly. I have to keep moving the timer back because they're running a little bit behind, but I'm sure it'll be any second now.
For all these ancillary services, so people can be on call, you can have humans in the loop, but you definitely need it, and it's already being deployed. I agree with Yuval. For us, automated trading, we have marketplaces where 80% of our tickets or more are going through some form of automated trading already. And the sizes these systems can handle are up to 10, 20 million notional in some cases, or more if it's front-end type trading. So this is just another extension of let's move to agent trading too, but you need guardrails, regulation, a lot of pieces of the system.
Yeah, I think AI is going to bring, I think it's happening at a great time for overnight trading. I think it's going to bring responsiveness, efficiency, and intelligence. But at the end of the day, and I'll save a minute for Sam, at the end of the day, the human's going to be accountable. So AI is not going to replace the accountability, but it will increase the efficiency and lower the operational spend.
Yeah, I mean, I would just add that I'd make the comment I made earlier about the rails. I mean, the rails are the most important. You need the rails to be able to have the the AI on top of it. As you've all said. I mean, there's a lot of automated trading that's happening today. Most of the trading is actually automated already, and I think that one of the things that's going to be important, if you sort of think about it from a bank perspective, is 24/7 trading at 2 in the morning. Our treasury team is not sitting around managing our liquidity, right? It's easy to say, 11:59 and 12 are sort of the changes in sort of your balance sheet, but that kind of becomes a little bit irrelevant at some point in time. And you have to sort of think about how you manage the bank, and goes back to the earlier comment I made about friction and deposit franchise and management of liquidity. And there's going to be a big evolution, the change in banks over time, as they have to sort of think about, especially the money that moves will need to be treated very differently than the money that is used in working capital operating accounts.
Yeah. Well, a lot to keep in mind here. Yuval, Chris, Kevin, and Sam, thank you for taking the time, and thank you to everyone for listening in.
Thank you.
Here we go. The moment has come. Brad Garlinghouse takes stage. Is he going to mention XRP? Is he going to give hope to the XRP army and retail investors? Remember, sentiment's very important in crypto, and sentiment from the CEO of Ripple, one of the biggest users of XRP, it can't get more important than this, especially when XRP, as you can see on the screen, is hovering around $1. You can see on the chart it's trying to break out towards the upside. Most of the time, Brad comes out, speaks, the market dumps after. Is this the moment where we get a sell the news event and then XRP has its final capitulations in the bear market? I follow the XRP news let me make a video and then we'll post if anyone who misses it. So here we go. Brad Garlinghouse is about to take the stage at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium. This is going to be a quick fireside chat, 15 minutes. Is Brad Garlinghouse going to save XRP? XRP currently sat at $1. Is this going to be the moment that holds XRP above $1 and we get a counter trend rally maybe to 120, 150 to new all-time highs? Or is it going to be what I believe, which is going to be maybe a little pump, maybe a little head up at $1, and then ultimately a capitulation and a move down for XRP to see where we can get it in the bear market, going into the bull market where I predict a $5 XRP. But there is some pain ahead in my opinion. Brad Garlinghouse, here we go, live on the show. Subscribe, hit the like button. Here we go.
I cover crypto for CNBC, and I'm here with Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. It's been, I think we said October 2024 was the last time we chatted.
Well, last time we chatted publicly in front of an audience where I acknowledged that Citibank had been the one that debanked me.
Oh my gosh, I was going to set you up for that. Well, and they're out with some fun crypto news this morning, right?
Citi?
Citi.
I might have missed this.
Says they're going to custody crypto.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I was going to say something mean about Citi, but no. We compete with Citi sort of indirectly. I mean, Citi's if not the largest, the second largest correspondent bank on the SWIFT network, and has a very vested interest in seeing the current status quo persist. They make about $5 billion of gross margin dollars on their correspondent banking business.
Well, where I was going with my opener.
I've already gotten you off track.
No, a lot has happened since October 2024. It's a completely different space, and it's a good thing. But we are in this bear market, and I want to start broadly there. We've seen a bear market before, but this time it just feels like crypto as an industry got everything it asked for. It's got the institutions on its side. It's got the embrace from Washington. You were such a big donor to that cause in 2024.
Yeah.
Was that money well spent for you?
Look, I think people have to, if you think about why did Ripple and why did some of our friends and kind of frenemies engage in, particularly the outlet of that was Fairshake, one of the largest super PACs. And you have to remember that like the government attacked the industry and almost went out of their way not to create rules, engaged in kind of just regulation through enforcement, as opposed to taking the time to actually, let's try to codify, let's try to create clear rules. And so the industry reacted by saying, we want to we want to educate the electorate about, hey, we want innovation in the United States. We want this industry to thrive in the United States. We want consumer protections. Let's make sure that we're electing people who aren't, frankly, Elizabeth Warren makes shit up. She says stuff about crypto. It's just not true. It's provably not true. And so providing a counterbalance to that, I think, is, of course, that's going to happen from the industry. It's an industry that people care about, and it's transforming and has the opportunity to transform how financial transactions are managed and make them much more efficient.
Well, I didn't think I was going to ask you about clarity this early, but given where we are with that and the pressure to get this moved forward within 7 weeks, I guess, given the way the industry was so hampered from the previous administration, what are your thoughts on clarity as it stands now, and to what extent, does its passage matter, and to whom and why, given that the crypto industry has always faced that kind of regulatory headwind and has persisted and innovated regardless?
Well, I'll go back. I mean, some of the earlier panelists have talked about, the idea that crypto was anti-regulation is the exact opposite. That is one of the mistruths. It's not the Wild West. In fact, we have sought out regulation. Ripple has 75 licenses around the world. The other thing I will say about the Clarity Act, Ripple's in a somewhat unique position because, unfortunately, we had to fight a 4-year battle with the United States government and the SEC. We had a federal judge write the sentence that XRP in and of itself is not a security. That is clarity for XRP. However, Ripple's view is, in order for the industry to succeed in the United States, we need clarity for the whole industry. We need that broadly, and so we have leaned in aggressively to support the Clarity Act. Like, there's smarter people than me that have been on stage earlier today to talk about likelihood of passage. I was in here when Tim Scott was presenting. I was in here when Patrick Witt was presenting. They're optimistic, so I'll be optimistic. I will say, partly maybe to stir things up a little bit, I find it interesting that one of the potential roadblocks is around ethics. Now, on one hand, we have to realize that there is nothing now, and so if the Dems are focused on how do we make sure that Trump and team are held accountable, it's like, well, this is a step towards that. On the other hand, my honest view is, like, the Clarity Act, ethics is a bigger issue for Congress to address. From a stock trading, it's not just crypto, it's more, I think that should there be an ethics act, should there be, the same as a Clarity Act? Sure. But, I worry, and even to some of my allies and competitors in the industry, I really do think we have to not let perfection be the enemy of good. And the bill that was moving with a lot of momentum in January was, I think, good. It's not materially different now. I'm hopeful that we'll get it across the finish line.
Crypto as an industry is going through this transformation. We have seen this before. The themes around stablecoins and tokenization and institutions really at the center of everything, it feels like. What do you make of it? Because it seems like we have all of these companies who, were created at a time when we focused on crypto as an asset class. In your case, it would be XRP. And now we're focused more on crypto, the technology of it all, and becoming the infrastructure and the distribution platform for more mainstream financial services. What do you make of that shift? I think it's interesting because I don't want to flatter you too much, but it seems like Ripple has kind of been doing that all along. And also, you've been in the industry for a long time, so I think culturally, what does that mean to you, that shift?
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on this. One, I mean, thank you. Ripple, somewhat controversially, has always been focused on the kind of bridge between traditional finance and decentralized finance. And early on, that was viewed as a negative. Now I think people come around to, no, that's actually a really good place to be.
That was viewed as a negative to whom?
To the crypto industry, to the purists, to the, everything has to be decentralized, which is in some ways you could say is a very laudable outcome. But it's also, we do live in a world of laws and regulation, and traditional financial infrastructure does matter at some point, unless the entire world's moving on chain, which I think would take longer than I'll be alive. And so we've always thought that bridge between traditional finance and decentralized finance is important. So I think you're seeing, even in this crypto winter, more companies recognize that if your revenue, if your business is tied to retail trading, and the price of the asset goes down by 50%, well, your revenue just went down by 50%.
Great job, guys.
So, I think you're seeing companies in this bear market struggle. You're seeing layoffs. You're seeing some exchanges actually shut down. And yeah, I mean, look, Ripple's going to have a record year. We'll more than double revenue year on year. I would rather do that with a tailwind for the crypto industry as a whole, and I think that we would even have a better year. But I think more and more people are realizing that the infrastructure side, the institutional side is where it's at. I'll actually give Kraken a shout out in that Kraken's revenue, they're not public, but they disclose certain things. I believe what I read in the media, right? But they disclosed that they actually were up. They had grown revenue despite the headwinds of the overall market. And I think it's because they have diversified beyond just kind of the retail piece.
Yeah, they're not public, but there have been headlines back and forth about them being rumored to have plans potentially. Do you have plans to go public? You're a CNBC Disruptor 50 this year. What's next?
We have been very happily private for a long time. Last year we did $2.5 billion of acquisitions despite being private. We also, over the last 2 years, have done $3 billion of tender offers to provide liquidity to our shareholders. That being said, my macro view here is that there's going to continue to be more larger, consequential acquisitions in our space. There's going to be consolidation, partly because of what we're describing, the crypto winter we're living through. And in the 5 crypto winters I've lived through, you've seen that happen. There's been consolidation. And so, I'd say we are more neutral on the topic than maybe we used to be. And so, we'll see how it plays out. If you looked at what BitGo went public in January, Securitize went public in July, those have been not particularly well received by the public markets, which is a deterrent. On the other hand, I think Circle actually, they've been public for a year and has actually done pretty well.
Can you talk a little bit more about the acquisitions, just as
Circle is down 50%, by the way.
Watching this shift in crypto companies and watching them broaden their financial stack and their tech stack? How is that helping you guys grow?
Yeah.
And your offerings grow?
Well, there's two big acquisitions we did last year. One was a company called Hidden Road.
And how is that helping modernize financial infrastructure?
Well, both very materially. So we bought a company called Hidden Road, a non-bank prime broker that was clearing last year they cleared $3 trillion of transactions. We also bought a company called G Treasury, which is one of the leading treasury management software kind of infrastructure for CFOs, treasurers that have currencies around the world and they need a full picture. Think of it as a CFO dashboard. What we see and they touched $13 trillion of transactions last year. So now by extension, now it's Ripple Treasury and Ripple Prime. So last year, we touched $16 trillion of transactions. About 0.1% of those were, quote, on-chain, meaning they either through a stablecoin, through XRP, through some other on-chain settlement. Our goal is obviously to continue to grow that 16 trillion. Both of those assets are having record years, and those are continuing to grow. So 16 trillion this year will be a bigger number. And it's to move that 0.1% to a larger number. If we move it from, each 0.1% is $160 billion. And when you think about if Ripple, by touching those, that's $16 trillion of transactions, that's Visa size. As we move some of that on-chain to benefit from the efficiency, both by speed, cost, and certainty, that's good for customers. Also, as a small anecdote on this, look, Ripple's been doing this for a long time, and I've done many sales pitches. Only in the last, I'd say 6 months now, I'm sitting, at events or what have you, and now we have CFOs and treasurers asking us, hey, my CEO is asking me about stablecoins. We have liquidity all over the world, and we have dormant liquidity not earning yield. How can you help us maximize that? How can we unlock some of that trapped capital? So I think there is a sea change happening because you're seeing real utility. And the industry, I mean, I've been saying this for a long time, and certainly I'm sure I did when we were on stage a couple years ago. You have to have utility. If it's just speculation or meme coins, that's not sustainable.
So there are two things in every conversation I've had at this event, which mostly just started.
Okay, I apologize for her. She's not doing a great job. Guys, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe. Brad Garlinghouse Live. Guys, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Just do it now. Let's see how many we can get. Let's get back to it. This is live event.
It's always, AI is driving layoffs, and also AI is driving agentic trading and AI, driven financial services broadly. So What are you guys doing with this?
I'll also stir it up a little bit on this one. I have a somewhat contrarian view on some of this. Ripple has adopted AI, aggressively. I think if you are in a growing business, a growing category, and taking share, AI is an enabler and an accelerant. When I see companies announce big layoffs and they say, oh, well, AI, X, Y, and Z, that to me says, well, they were bloated before and they're using this as an excuse. I'll give you one. This is going to get me in trouble. But, look, remember when Elon Musk bought Twitter? He laid off, he went from like 6,000 to 2,000. Who had been running that before? Oh, Jack Dorsey. Remember Jack Dorsey announced a 50% layoff around Block because of AI? I sell a pattern. It's not because of AI, it's because it was bloated. AI, if you are in a business that has opportunity to grow and you're serving customers and have compelling solutions, AI just lets you do that better and faster and stronger. Ripple has 150 open positions right now. We have grown, we're 1,500 people around the world, and we're going to continue to grow because our business is growing quickly, and AI just helps us grow into that. Now, the other thing I would say, which is a little bit controversial to crypto and AI specifically, the last panel talked about this a little bit at the end. A lot of the excitement about agentic payments, I think, is premature. And it touches on I've played with some of the agentic payments, and I'm happy to connect $20 or $200 to kind of experiment. But you tell me when a corporate treasurer is going to allow an agent to tap into their corporate checking account, their main account, and allow agentic access. Because it is, in the last panel talked about this, accountability still lives with the human.
Right.
And that's scary to really, I think there's going to have to be a lot of guardrails. And look, please don't interpret me as saying I don't believe in agentic payments. I just think that the excitement is ahead of the reality right now, and I think it's going to take a while.
All right, we have to end it there, but thank you so much, Brad.
Thank you very much.
Oh my God, that was awful. Oh no. Oh my God. Why did they end it so quickly? Sorry, let me pause that. What just happened? And that interviewer didn't ask any good questions. She spoke more than Brad, it seems. And there goes Brad Garlinghouse. What has just happened? Brad Garlinghouse was on stage for 10 minutes. The other stages overran. Brad Garlinghouse didn't get his time back. The interviewer didn't ask any interesting questions. And there it is. Couple points. It looks like an IPO might be likely. Back to 50% chance of an IPO, but they're not going to do it now. They're going to wait for a bull run to do that. But wow, I am shocked. The fact that that interviewer kind of ruined that interview, the fact that it was so short. Interesting. If you're watching live, hit the like button. If you're watching later, hit the like button. We looked at the XRP chart. I laid out my thoughts on XRP. Look, forget about the utility of XRP. Forget about the fact some people say it's going to take over the rails. It's going to take 100% of Swift. The world is changing, and XRP is the next thing to save the world. We've heard influencers bang on about $100 XRP. We've heard influencers bang on about $1,000 XRP. We've heard them give you nonsense. We've heard them tell you 5 years ago we'll be at $100. We heard them tell you by Christmas of last year it's going to be at $1,000. Warning going out to all XRP holders. These people do not have your best interests at heart. These people are either selling you a service, they're either trying to get you to click so they make money from ads, they are trying to get sponsors so that they can show how many views they're getting by selling fake narratives so sponsors can come on. They get sponsored by FTX. They get money from leverage trading that will give you a link in tow to go leverage trade XRP, and they know 95% of you are going to lose, but they make you sign up anyway. The reason being is because they make money whether you lose, whether you win or lose, and they know 95% of you lose. So the reason they do it is so they can make money on your trades. They are full of, I'm not going to say the word because we're not like that on this channel. On this channel, we tell you the news. We tell you the real news. We run the newsletter every Sunday, giving the XRP chart and the real stories. We are here to win. Last cycle, I bought XRP at 30 cents. I shared that live on the show. We took it up to $3 and I sold it. That was 1,000% gain. Every single person hated it when I came out with a bear market video a year ago when XRP was at $2.80. I said we're in a bear market. I'm selling most of my position. We lost subscribers. We got dislikes. People didn't like it. People didn't watch. But in fact, we did the right thing. And we will always do the right thing. There are no sponsors on this channel. We are supported by the community. We don't take corporate sponsors. The $50,000 emails in Martyn's inbox saying, can we sponsor the channel, are rejected. They're ignored. They're deleted. They're thrown away. Why? Well, because we are the channel that want to do the right thing. So if you want the up-to-date XRP news and you want the up-to-date news in the crypto market and the stock market, then subscribe. We have a great community on Discord. We have a great community on the newsletter, and we are in it to win it. So, guys, what are my thoughts about XRP? Well, I'm not the other side either. I'm not that person that comes out and says XRP is going to zero. XRP is a centralized coin. XRP has no utility. There's somewhere in between. And that in between is where no one finds it exciting enough, but there's plenty of money to be made. Everyone's desensitized to 2x gains, 5x gains, 10x gains in the crypto market. Guys, that is years and years and years in the stock market. I don't give financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. But I have lived through cycles. I've seen how life-changing they can be, but it's not for the faint of heart. You need to be prepared for it. You need to not invest more than you can lose. You need to understand it. You need to be careful of the scammers. Everyone uses crypto as a way to scam because people are so naive, and we've all been there. We see a video with a QR code that says double your Bitcoin. 4 years ago, 2017, I saw that video. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Crypto's new. But thankfully, I understood that if it's too good to seem true, what was it? If it's too good to be true, then it's not true. Scammers target people investing in crypto. You have to be careful. You have to be careful of ledgers because sometimes they malfunction or you send it to the wrong address. You need to be careful of influencers because they make themselves seem like they know what they're talking about, but in fact they're just talking nonsense to get you to click and to get you to buy, to get you scammed. All of this. On this channel, we do the opposite. No sponsors, no scammers, real news, real community, real facts, and you'll find on this channel. So please do subscribe. Please do hit the like button. What do I think of XRP? Well, I don't think it's going to $1,000. I don't think it's going to $500, and I don't think it's going to $0. I lay out my whole XRP thoughts every Sunday because I think the bear market will end, whether it's this month, next month, 3 months. I think it's going to end between now and 6 months from now. So I am preparing to deploy cash into XRP. I've already started my position for XRP this cycle. What does that mean? My average so far is $1, $1.02. The next place I'm buying, 93 cents. The next level, 80 cents. And I think we'll bottom somewhere around 80 cents. However, I'm also prepared for all scenarios. And the other scenario is we go lower to 70 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents, and I'll buy more. I want to be fully positioned by 50 cents. Can we go lower? Yes, but unlikely in my opinion. But also, can we go into a bull market here? Well, yes, but also unlikely. I don't think we're going to bottom at $1 and go straight to $3, $5. I think there is going to be a final capitulation. I think we're going to bottom in the next 6 months, whether that is because of a capitulation in price or because we just go sideways for 6 months. I don't know yet, but I am prepared for every scenario. And that's the one thing I like to teach. Be prepared for the upside, the downside, and sideways. Because if anyone's on YouTube telling you they know exactly what's going to happen, they are lying to you. No one knows what's going to happen. All you can do is be prepared for each scenario. What are you going to do if the XRP goes down in price? What are you going to do if XRP goes straight into a bull market? What are you going to do if XRP goes sideways? If you can answer all three of those questions, you will avoid panic selling, FOMOing, and you will have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you will not win. In the crypto market, it's volatile, it's scary, it's quick, it's fast, it's lucrative, it's loss-making. You have to have a plan to win. That brings me on to the newsletter. What changed the game for me in 2017, 2018, 2020, 2021 was understanding the news, was learning about charts, was putting it together, was actually doing research and having a plan. That's what inspired me to make the best newsletter in the world. What am I talking about? Well, Sensei.news. What I do on Sensei.news is provide the real news. I understood that the news is important. I subscribed to 10 news sources. I was reading the news every single day. Then I was learning about charts. News was great, but I didn't know about the price action. So I got the news, I was halfway winning, but not winning enough. Then I discovered charts. Then I spent thousands on courses. Then I lost a lot of money because I didn't understand the rules. Then when I finally understood how to read the news and how to understand the charts is when I became a really profitable investor and trader. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Instead of you having to go through the pain I went through, I've got a newsletter, which you don't have to make 50 subscriptions to 50 different news sources. I will look at every single news story, every single avenue of news. I put it together in a daily newsletter every single day, 2 hours before the opening bell, you get the news. On Sundays, you get the XRP special, the only true XRP newsletter. Every Sunday, the chart for XRP, the news for XRP, the poll for XRP, the debunk section, all of that in a Sunday newsletter. So 2 hours before the opening bell, you get the top stories, the chart of the day, the deep dives, the cheat sheets. For example, if there's an FOMC, a CPI, an inflation date, I put together everything you need to know about that into a simple to read, simple to understand cheat sheet, and you also get that. You get the top headlines. That's all 2 hours before the opening bell. Sundays, you get the XRP newsletter. Sunday nights, you get the week ahead, which is the calendar for what's coming up this week, what to be aware of. Again, it's about the stock market, the crypto market, and everything. That's what is important to me, the crypto market and the stock market. I also give to you everything I've learned about charts. Beginners can understand it, and it's great for advanced people as well because it really narrows it down and tells you what works. It's based off academic research. It's based off 8 years of investing. It's based off 8 years of charts. It's based off $1,000 of money being put into chart courses. And in fact, most of them are useless because at the end of the day, this chart course is built off academic research. 95% of people lose. How to be in the 5%. You get the chart training course included in your newsletter package. You get the XRP weekly included in your chart inside your newsletter package. You get the cheat sheets included in your newsletter. You get the net worth tracker, which is worth $50 a month, included in your net worth tracker. You get a $5,000 portfolio challenge when I'm showing you my actual journal of my own money, how I'm trying to grow that. Not financial advice, never financial advice, just trying to show you my journal, my thoughts, how I research. That's included in the newsletter, the $5,000 portfolio challenge. We are coming out with one of the biggest perks ever. Next month, there's going to be a price increase, but not if you sign up right now. First link in the description gets you 25% off. You get access to me on Sundays where I will answer your one-on-one questions. I'll do your chart request live on the show. You get to message me anytime. You get access to my DMs. There's many more perks that come with it. You can sign up first link in the description. And the reason we're doing it is because we don't want corporate sponsors. We don't want to be like other people. We want to actually provide a very valuable service for a very cheap price, for a very cost-effective price, so you guys can win and get more news, get more education from the right place. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it all. First link in the description, 25% off, 5 links only. I'm going to give it to you in the live chat as well if you're watching live. Let me give you that. There's only limited to 5 spots. So there you go. If you haven't signed up yet, you can get it there. So the chart trading course are my trading view indicators, the Discord access, the newsletter, the additional perk coming out, all included in that one subscription. If you are watching later as a video, 2 links up here. The link for the newsletter will be down here. Until next time, subscribe, hit the like button, take care of yourselves and each other. If you're watching live, stay where you are. Okay, if you're watching live, that is good for you. Martyn is not right. Let me have a look at what Martyn's saying. Guys, if you're watching live, 5 spots. You might get it before the people in the video see it. So the link is in the live chat. Subscribe now. There is a price increase coming next month, but it's not going to affect you if you subscribe now, and you get a 25% discount. Let's go over to live chat. Let's see everyone's reaction to Brad Garlinghouse and what just unfolded there. That was crazy. So short, so full of not much. And that lady has really annoyed me because she didn't ask the right questions. Okay, wow. Let's see. What is everyone's reaction to that? I kind of want to skip Charles Hoskinson. Does anyone want to watch Charles Hoskinson? Or I'm not in the mood to watch Charles Hoskinson after that. Let's just do our Q&A section of the show. Okay, where did we get to? I can't read through it all. I'll go from when the chat ended. Yes, I agree. Save us, Sensei, says Starlight Matrix. Guys, when it comes to XRP, it's very much, you need to read the room. You need to... Oh, wow, we've just got 100 joules. And Robs gave away, did a super chat of $100. Robs, thank you so much. Sorry I couldn't react too much. It was a very important event, but wow, Robs, $100. I mean, our top supporter. Thank you so much for that, Robs. That was incredible. Look at that, XRP now looking to break $1. This is not going to go well for XRP. This could be what leads to a final capitulation. Let's see what happens. But the thing with XRP is you just need to read the room. You need to understand the sentiment. And right now, the sentiment's not great. That sentiment will change, and XRP is one of those tokens that everyone's get very excited about, which at the end of the day is more important than the utility, because I'm not going to come out here and say XRP is the best utility coin in the world. It might be, but it's not really doing a whole lot right now, and it's not projected to do a massive amount. So it's not going to take over the whole of Swift. They're not going to use it for everything. So we need to understand that. It doesn't matter if other people think that, because they're probably going to drive XRP's price up, and retail investors are going to get really excited and buy in at the top, and that's fine. Everyone needs to learn their lesson, but it's all about the narrative. Right now, the narrative for XRP is not brilliant. There's not enough money in the crypto space. There'll be a time and a place where XRP goes in a bull run, and I think it will make at least the same highs, if not new all-time highs. And that's what I'm trying to prepare for. Even if it goes from $1 to $2, that's 100%, and that can happen in a year. So I'm starting to build a position because I think the sentiment will come back to XRP. To what extent, I'm not sure yet. I think if any altcoin is going to do well, XRP should be sort of towards the top of that list when you put the risk to reward. Because some altcoins are going to do 1,000x, but for every one that does 1,000x, 1,000 will go to zero as well. So it's very hard to find those ones. But if you look at the top cryptocurrencies, XRP is probably here to stay, and it probably will produce some good returns, in my opinion, not financial advice. So again, lots of information. I can talk for hours and hours and hours, try and break each one down. The best way to do it is look at the XRP weekly newsletters, stay subscribed, and we will build on top of knowledge week after week, going into that bear market bottom and potentially the bull market top. We'll be here to go through it together as a community to learn from each other. How many likes did we get in the end? Has everyone hit the like button? Who hasn't hit the like button yet? Guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please do hit the like button on this live stream. Let me see. We've got 321 likes, 324 people watching. If we can get more likes and viewers, that would be incredible. If you haven't hit the like button yet, guys, please do. My electric bill is at 800, says one. Nicholas says WTF. Diesel Ready says S show. Yeah, I said it from the beginning, says This Way Gaming. Yeah, I expected to sell the news. I also mentioned that, but we'll see. I mean, it's too early to say, but I guess it is selling off now. Lol, we spent more on electricity bills chasing XRP than profits taken. Divine says shocking. Sumac says she was S. This Way D3 Gaming, bro, is a scammer. The BT team says and dump. S show. WTF says Nicholas. I'm surprised we're holding a dollar still. Yeah, I would expect this to be dropping a bit quicker. RB's not happy, and RB's a big investor in XRP as well. John says another pile of poo. Northern Plasma says that was a complete waste of his time. Yeah, I'm more annoyed at the interview than I am annoyed at Brad. I think we got mention of XRP 2 or 3 times, which is better than none. Knocking Star says, what's going on? Andy says, terrible, wasn't it? It was, yes. I'm not happy at all. Diesel Raider says, Brad is related to Focantas. To be honest, I sort of expected it, which is why I didn't make today's show a bigger deal, which is why I didn't do a whole newsletter around this, because unfortunately, we kind of can assume that it was going to be a nothing burger, and that was my instinct going in. And yeah, I'm happy I didn't spend hours researching, because there's not much to say on an event like this. High Desert says Garlinghouse dumped 250 million XRP in the summer of 2025. What, personally? What do you mean by that? Oh, yes. Here we go. Here's the comment again. Thank you.
At Cynthia Yankan 4,966 tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. Off topic, are you bullish on silver short term?
Thank you so much for the super chat. We do our chart requests for our members on Sunday, so I can't look at the chart right now, but off the top of my head, short term, probably not. Medium term, maybe. Long term, yes. But I don't think we're going to go to $120 anytime soon. We bought silver. We were very bullish on that. $30, $50. We took it up to all three of our targets. $80, $100, $120 was our last target. We hit all three. $120 is probably going to be the peak for some time. We're probably not going to get there. Maybe a rally, if we get a nice rally in the medium term over the months, could take us back to $80, maybe even $100. But short term, I wouldn't say I'm super bullish on it. I'm looking to accumulate. I'm buying some. But I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm super bullish on silver short term. Not like I was 6 months ago. Oh, more than 6 months ago. 8 months ago. Brad scammer off to his private jet. The B team. I wouldn't blame Brad on this because two things. Like again, he's the CEO of Ripple. He's not the CEO of XRP. He doesn't. He's not there to. He's got to run Ripple, and Ripple use XRP. I mean, you can make the debate about how much they actually use XRP and how much they need it. That you can make that debate. But in this situation, so we can't judge him on not speaking about XRP too much because it's not. XRP is not their company. XRP is a digital asset they use. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the lady interviewer, again, no hate to her. I'm sure she does a great job and her shows on CNBC are great. But unfortunately, in this interview, my own thoughts would be that she didn't do a good job. And thirdly, obviously, the organizers of this event allowed the other acts to go on. They're letting Charles Hoskinson take the stage and probably speak for half an hour, the leader of, the co-founder of ADA. But I don't think Brad was the one who decided to run off stage. I think it was a procedural thing. So again, I wouldn't blame Brad too much for this. Starlight says they ran out of things to say right away. No North Star today, guys. Oh yeah, we didn't get that. Diesel Raider says SHIT. This Way Gaming says, I told you. Diesel Raider not happy. Nick Jones says IPO will be the signal top for me. Yeah, I mean, if there is an IPO, Ripple will probably do it the most strategic time possible. They'll probably do it when the crypto market's in a bull market, like a proper bull market. So that could be quite a big IPO signal top. I agree, Nick Jones, especially if they do it in like 2028, 2029, potentially, where maybe we're in a good bull market in crypto. Maybe end of 2027. I don't know where we're going to be, but I would expect 2028 to be the sort of the peak of the bull market. So Ripple IPO in 2028, possibly. Market top, possibly. The B team, XRP is dead. Again, there's two extremes. The people saying it's going to $1,000 and the people saying it's going to $0. Guys, let's find a happy medium. It's neither of those two, and it's Vocal Foster says his net worth is estimated to be $10 billion derived from his XRP holdings and 6.3% stake in Ripple. Is that what his net worth is estimated? Does he have a 6.3% stake in Ripple? How much XRP does he hold? Does anyone know? This Way D3 Gaming, you didn't listen. High Energy Investments, doesn't matter if you listened or not. I mean, XRP is at the price it was before it. So if anyone thought it was going to be much better, you're at the same price as it was before. And if anyone thought this went better than expected, we're at the same price as we are before. So you can still make the decisions you want to make. Charles Hoskinson has so much more passion, says High Energy Investments. Yeah, he is live right now. Let's go live here.
And so before the end of the year, Midnight City is going to turn on agentic trading. You'll be able to have wallets for your agents, give them whatever token you want, trade on any platform you want, off-chain or on-chain. It's your problem. And what's really cool is because it's private, you can even trade trading strategies. So let's say you're Jane Street or Renaissance or Point42 or any of these top shelf firms that make billions of dollars with secret strategies. Well, what if you could just license it to somebody and their agent can trade and they actually don't know the strategy. They can't see it, it's private, but they can run it and they get 5%. It's pretty cool, right? Marketplaces form for that. Now I have no idea where that goes, but that's the point of these things. The recursively self-improving organic systems. And embedded within this teaches us a bit about where is agentic finance going, agentic commerce going, agentic search going. You have an agent wants to learn something. Where does the agent go? Does it go to Google? To Amazon?
This
to all
is
these
live,
centralized
by the
services?
way.
What if it talks to other agents? What if one of the agents in this system is a world expert on the thing your agent needs to know? What's it going to do? It's going to go talk to that agent in its own language, in its own way, and they're going to learn from each other, barter, trade with each other, haggle on your behalf, following your intention, solving your issue. It's pretty cool stuff. These are the narratives that we have to restart crypto. The problem with crypto, guys, is it is dead in its current form. Being here for 15 years, I'll tell you again and again, it's old. It's a product of a product of a product of a product. People come, I got an Aave killer. So in other words, a less popular Aave. I got a Uniswap killer. In other words, a less popular
At High
Uniswap.
Energy Investments,
I'm going to trade this
$2
RWA. I'm going to trade
Thanks,
this thing.
Cynthia.
Okay, so it's kind of like Wall Street. Yeah. And actually, we're going to optimize it by centralizing it. All right, okay, great. And we're going to regulate it. So everybody who uses it has to show their passport and has to show their ID. I don't know about you, but I didn't sign up for that back when I came in. I didn't sign up to run a bank or a regulated entity. I signed up to be a decentralized guy and do things with people all around the world. And I signed up to meet the users where they're at. That's what I signed up for, and a lot of people did. We said it's a revolution. We want to do things differently. So what do we have to do? We have to think about where is the puck going? Where's the world of 2030 going to be? Every single person, they'll start their day by talking to an agent over their phone, on Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever their channel is, and they're going to tell them what they want, and the agent's just going to figure it out. How do you make that safe, private, trusted, these things? That's why we built blockchain technology. To go from don't be evil to can't be evil. To go from infrastructure that's owned by the few to owned by the many. To build systems that by their construction protect you as a person. So you have to dream and you have to think. And it could be as simple as this, because this is something that anyone can understand and personalize and make their own. This is something that anybody can integrate against and build against. And actually what's cool is AI can build this too. We rewrote the game engine 3 times in the last 6 months. Every 2 weeks we ship vast new features. We've done integrations faster than I think we've ever done in 10 years of building Cardano or other things. It's incredible, the level of velocity and scale. And what's nice is it's self-evident why you need these types of things. I'll give you an example. There's a venture, you probably have heard of it, called Replica. You date your agent. That's kind of weird. 42 million people are currently doing that. Now, do we need privacy for that? Yeah, that definitely is something we should have privacy for, right? Self-evident. That's not a product within a product, an RWA within an RWA, slightly better yield, slightly better liquidity, slightly better thing. It's just self-evident that you need these things. And this is how you get it done. You build it. You have empathy, reduces churn. If you like your agent, you don't leave. If you have watchability, if there's interesting things going on in this game world, your customer acquisition falls. It's how you get 1 billion users, how you make it exciting, how you integrate into consumer products. The technologies we have in the blockchain space are ridiculously easy to turn into a financial product. Just like the internet deceptively was ridiculously easy to turn into email. And if you came from a certain generation, a certain time, that was your perception of it. It's a business tool. It's here to speed up something I already do. And in the process of turning it into that thing, you lose the thing that makes it so incredibly magical. Blockchains are social systems at their core. Their purpose is to bring people together, strange bedfellows, to bring together governments, individuals, all kinds of people. In my 15-year journey in this space, I had dinner with Bukele down in El Salvador. It was like a movie being down there. The guy's crazy, in a kind of a good and kind of a bad way. Met the Trump brothers, met generals, met all kinds of people. We were the president of Burundi. And every time they were always looking at this thing like a Rorschach's test. Can it solve this problem? Can it solve that problem? Can it solve this problem? So if we want to embrace a new generation, we want to bring $10 trillion in and billions of people in, we need a new narrative for cryptocurrencies. Something beyond better, faster, cheaper, or this financial product and this product and Coinbase. We need the narrative that it's with you in life wherever you take it, and it makes life simpler, safer, more private, and easier for everybody. And that's what we've been trying to do for the last few years. We really have. And we've been experimenting, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what's really cool about this is we do it together. There's already 2,500 beta testers that have signed up. So those aren't just agents, those are agents with people behind them. And every week they meet and they talk to each other. You know, you blink, it'll be 25,000. You blink again, it'll be 250,000. You blink again, it's 2 million. And then you get the hockey stick. And then you can easily, every 6 weeks, add new products, new services, embed all kinds of different assets, test new types of economies. And you wake up and it might be the next Facebook for agents. Who knows? And being crypto powered, it's a public good. There is no Mark Zuckerberg, there is no Sam Altman, there is no Google behind it. It belongs to all of us. That's what blockchains are supposed to do. So I guess the call to action in the agentic finance is, as you think about your own businesses and you think about blockchain, don't make it so narrow that you lose the forest from the trees. Understand that you've inherited the most advanced and incredible technology mankind has ever created. This stands on the shoulders of 50 years of computer science, distributed systems theory, programming language theory, zero-knowledge cryptography, and so many millions of people had to do so many millions of things to get us to this point, and they open-sourced all of it. So when you build your businesses, when you build your products, when you build your future on these things, you're not just finding a better payment system. You're not just finding a better security. You're inheriting 50 years of technology. And understand that things are no longer siloed. All this technology is interoperable. This can plug in with anybody's system. If you have a business today, you can be in Midnight City. Case in point, my brother runs a Nintendo repair service called Hoskinson. We actually manufactures the original Nintendo NES that we had when we were kids. They're off patent, we can do that, you know, it's great. We're integrating like a storefront for it inside this game. Why not? For a distribution for homebrew. And then we started thinking, well, why can't we associate original IP that's in the homebrew market with NFTs? And then we started thinking, well, how do we do a royalty management system? And then we realized we could do it for any DRM product and any license. Okay, that's a generic capability. It's in the game now. The same rails as a payment system, the same rails as a securitization, because what if people really like the game? Well, I want to crowdfund it. How do you crowdfund? Well, it's like an ICO. Remember the old days where we did that? Well, now you have a system for it. You can pre-fund things, early release model, very common in games. It's all there. And here's the crazy part. Humans don't even have to be involved in that anymore. The agent knows what games you like to play. You give it a budget. Buy me some stuff every month. Just shows up in your mailbox. That's the future. That's where 2030 is going to be. That's where the next billion users are going to come from. So thanks for coming here to SALT. It's a great event. I love Jackson Hole, actually. It's a beautiful place. This is a beautiful hotel, and I really do enjoy this conference. And there's some great people here building great things. And do understand that the bear market's going to go away. There will be another bull market, and these are the kinds of things that are going to get us there. Stuff like this is going to bring billions of people into the cryptocurrency space. It's going to bring trillions of dollars in. And we're going to stop looking at coin market cap as the front page of cryptocurrencies. And we're going to start looking at these things as the front page. That's my prediction. So thank you all for coming. Cheers.
Some claims made there. I'll be sure to go back and watch what he was talking about. That was Charles Hoskinson on stage. Okay, it's time to end today's event. Brad Good, interviewer Paul. Yeah, I think that's a consensus after today. Diesel Raider says, yeah, Ripple, maybe he's just a bad speaker. Well, no, he didn't have much time to speak. Bitcoin's Craig says XRP was for the people. It's always been for the banks. I love my XRP being my coins for years. Patience. Okay, let me see if there's any other comments. Martyn sold out. Yeah, I saw that. Martyn sold, I think, some XRP once he saw the interviewer. Okay. Time to end the event. As soon as I saw who was interviewing Brad, I sold all to make $1,000 today on crypto, but this sounds awful. Back to 100% in SpaceX and 10,000 Spacey. Cracks are showing, swearing from Brad. Thank you. There he is. Thank you, Martyn, for that. Let me take XRPs. Thank you for updating us on your trades. And congratulations on your profit. Player attacking each other, cracks showing. Thanks for that. I just realized my game. I look at my realized gains on ADA and smile with XRP and HBAR. I've been in crypto longer than most. Yes, ADA in 2021, 2022. I mean, that was fun. Going from what was it, like 1 cent to like $1. I mean, incredible. That was fun. Okay. That's the end of today's show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you want that discount, the newsletter, first link in the description. If you are already a newsletter member, make sure that you go and check your settings. Make sure your card is up to date, because if you do lapse on your subscription, you will have to join back at a higher price, and you don't want that, because there's a big perk coming. Until next time, as always, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will continue to run my XRP weekly, because I think there will be a time and a place for crypto. I do think there will be a bull market. At the bottom of a bear market, everyone goes bearish. Everyone says it's going to die. And then it always comes back, and there's always money to be made. It's all about the retail investors. It's all about the money that can flow into the space. And people are too bullish at the top. We saw that. Everyone said buy, buy, buy. Everyone's average was about $3. When our average was about 30 cents, everyone said sell, sell, sell in the bear market. And we're starting to see that. I think we're going to go lower. I don't think everyone's capitulated yet, but we'll see. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.